On this day in history, we remember the remarkable individuals who shaped our world. Welcome to Who Died Today in History, where we honor their legacies. From artists to leaders, their impact lives on. If you find their stories meaningful, like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay connected.
Thank you to all our amazing channel members for your generous support.
Some faces don't just appear on screen. They stand tall, speak softly, and somehow define an entire era of strength. Carl Weathers was born on January 14, 1948, in New Orleans, Louisiana. Before acting ever called his name, he was a gifted athlete, earning a football scholarship and briefly playing professionally. Discipline came early, so did ambition. His rise to fame began in 1976 when he stepped into the ring as Apollo Creed in Rocky. Charismatic, confident, unforgettable. Creed was more than a rival. He was a mirror, a mentor, and a symbol of pride. Weathers returned to the role across 4 films, helping shape one of cinema's most enduring franchises. In the late 1980s, he became a different kind of icon as Dillon in Predator, standing shoulder to shoulder with Arnold Schwarzenegger in one of the defining action films of its generation. Later, he proved his range again with comedic timing in Arrested Development, showing audiences that he could laugh at his own image and elevate it. Off-screen, Carl Weathers was known for his professionalism and quiet thoughtfulness. Few people realize he once seriously considered becoming a director early in his career, studying filmmaking with the same intensity he once brought to sports. Acting for him was craft, not ego. Carl Weathers died on February 1, 2024. He was 76 years old. According to his family, he passed away peacefully in his sleep at his home in Los Angeles, California. The cause of death was later reported as atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease. The news arrived gently, but it landed heavily. Tributes poured in almost immediately. Co-stars, directors, and fans remembered his warmth, his presence, and the dignity he brought to every role. Social media filled with clips of Apollo Creed, with handshakes, with smiles, with that famous confidence. Today, Carl Weathers is remembered not just as an action star, but as a symbol of evolution. An athlete turned actor, a tough guy who could be tender, a performer who aged with grace and self-awareness. His characters taught us that strength isn't only about power, it's about heart. Some legends fade when the credits roll. Carl Weathers never did. He simply stepped back, leaving behind a legacy that still stands tall. Some stars shine briefly, but so brightly that even decades later, their light still feels close and unsettlingly fragile. Heather O'Rourke was born on December 27, 1975, in San Diego, California. She was discovered by chance at an MGM studio cafeteria, chosen not for training, but for an unmistakable presence that felt otherworldly. Her rise to fame was sudden and unforgettable. In 1982, she became a global sensation as Carol Ann Freeling in Poltergeist. Small, blonde, and wide-eyed, she delivered one of horror cinema's most chilling lines with pure innocence. Audiences were captivated. She reprised the role in Poltergeist 2 and Poltergeist 3, growing up on screen while carrying a franchise that blurred the line between childhood wonder and terror. For many, her face became synonymous with 1980s supernatural horror. Behind the scenes, Heather was described as cheerful, polite, and remarkably grounded for a child star. One lesser-known detail is that she struggled with chronic health issues during filming, often dismissed as flu or exhaustion. Despite this, she continued working, supported closely by her family, never losing the gentle spirit that defined her on screen. Heather O'Rourke died on February 1, 1988. She was only 12 years old. She collapsed at home after experiencing severe abdominal pain and was rushed to Children's Hospital of San Diego. Doctors later determined she had suffered septic shock caused by a congenital bowel condition, leading to acute intestinal obstruction. Her death was sudden, unexpected, and devastating. The reaction was immediate and emotional. Hollywood was stunned. Fans struggled to comprehend how a child so full of life could be gone overnight. Rumors and myths quickly followed, fueled by the tragic timing surrounding the Poltergeist films. Yet beyond speculation, there was real grief for a young girl whose life ended far too soon. Today, Heather O'Rourke is remembered not as a horror legend, but as a symbol of lost innocence. Her performances still resonate, not because they were frightening, but because they were honest. She reminded audiences that vulnerability can be powerful, and that even the smallest voices can echo forever. Some childhoods end quietly, hers became eternal. He rarely smiled on screen, yet made millions laugh, proving that silence, timing, and courage could speak louder than words. Buster Keaton was born on October 4, 1895, in Piqua, Kansas. Legend has it that as a toddler, he survived a brutal fall, prompting magician Harry Houdini to nickname him Buster. His rise to fame reshaped comedy forever. In the silent film era, Keaton became known as the Great Stone Face, delivering elaborate physical gags without ever breaking expression. Films like Sherlock Jr. and Steamboat Bill Jr. showcased not just humor, but astonishing athleticism and cinematic innovation. Then came The General in 1926, now considered one of the greatest films ever made, where Keaton performed dangerous stunts himself, including scenes involving real moving trains. He wasn't just acting. He was engineering comedy with precision and fearless commitment. Away from the screen, Keaton's life was far more turbulent. A lesser-known side of him was his struggle after the silent era ended. Studio control, financial loss, and alcoholism followed, pushing him out of the spotlight for years. Yet he never lost his creative spark. In later life, he found quiet redemption through television appearances and renewed critical appreciation, finally receiving the respect he had long deserved. Buster Keaton died on February 1, 1966. He was 70 years old. The cause was lung cancer, and he passed away at his home in Woodland Hills, California. Remarkably, those close to him said he was unaware of how serious his illness truly was, facing his final days with calm and characteristic understatement. The world reacted with reflection rather than shock. Tributes poured in from filmmakers, critics, and fellow comedians who understood his influence. Many acknowledged that modern comedy, from physical humor to visual storytelling, would look very different without him. Today, Buster Keaton is remembered as a master craftsman of cinema. His films are studied, restored, and celebrated for their ingenuity and bravery. He showed that comedy could be elegant, dangerous, and deeply human, all without a single spoken word. He never chased applause. Yet a century later, the echo of our laughter still follows him. He crossed borders of language and culture, carrying intensity in his voice, until one performance forever carved his name into cinema history. Maximilian Schell was born on December 8, 1930, in Vienna, Austria. Raised in an artistic family, he grew up surrounded by music, literature, and performance, speaking several languages fluently from a young age. His rise to international fame was swift and powerful. In 1961, Schell delivered a haunting performance as a German defense attorney in judgment at Nuremberg, a role that earned him the Academy Award for Best Actor. It was a rare honor for a non-American performer, and it made him a global star overnight. He followed this with commanding roles in films like The Man in the Glass Booth and Top Copy, proving he could embody complex, morally conflicted characters with quiet intensity. Beyond acting, Schell also directed and produced, including an acclaimed documentary about Marlene Dietrich that revealed his depth as a storyteller. Away from the spotlight, Schell was a deeply intellectual and private man. A lesser-known side of him was his passion for classical music and painting. He composed, collected art, and often retreated from Hollywood to live quietly in Europe, preferring creative solitude over constant fame. Maximilian Schell died on February 1, 2014. He was 83 years old. The cause was pneumonia following a sudden illness, and he passed away in Innsbruck, Austria. His death marked the loss of one of the last great bridges between classic European theater and Hollywood cinema. The reaction was immediate and respectful. Tributes came from across the film world, honoring him not just as an actor, but as an artist of rare intelligence and emotional discipline. Critics revisited his work, and audiences rediscovered performances that felt as powerful decades later as they did upon release. Today, Maximilian Schell is remembered as a performer who never took the easy path. He brought dignity, gravity, and thoughtfulness to every role, refusing to simplify the human experience. His legacy lives on in performances that challenge, unsettle, and quietly demand reflection. He didn't chase fame, he earned permanence. He grew up in front of millions, making them laugh as a teenager, before life took turns few expected or truly understood. Dustin Diamond was born on January 7, 1977 in San Jose, California. A bright and energetic child, he began acting professionally before most kids finished elementary school. His rise to fame came almost instantly. In 1989, Diamond became a household name as Samuel Screech Powers on Saved by the Bell. The character's awkward charm, high-pitched voice, and physical comedy made him unforgettable to an entire generation. The role followed him through multiple spin-offs, including Saved by the Bell, The College Years, and Saved by the Bell, The New Class. For years, his face was synonymous with Saturday morning television and 1990s teen culture, even as he struggled to escape the shadow of the role that defined him. Away from the cameras, Diamond's life was far more complicated. A lesser-known side of him was his deep frustration with being typecast and misunderstood. He longed to be seen as more than Screech, turning to stand-up comedy and writing as outlets. Though often controversial, these efforts reflected a man trying to reclaim control over his own story. Dustin Diamond died on February 7, 2021. He was just 44 years old. The cause was stage 4 small cell carcinoma, an aggressive form of cancer diagnosed only weeks earlier. He passed away at a hospital in Cape Coral, Florida, after a rapid decline that shocked fans and colleagues alike. The reaction was immediate and emotional. Former castmates expressed sorrow and regret, remembering both the joy he brought to millions and the struggles he faced privately. Fans flooded social media with clips, photos, and memories, revisiting the laughter he delivered during simpler times. Even critics acknowledged that his journey reflected the harsh realities of child stardom. Today, Dustin Diamond is remembered as more than a troubled headline. He represents a generation raised on network television, a reminder of how fame can arrive early and linger forever. His performance as Screech remains iconic, frozen in reruns and memories, still making people smile decades later. He made the world laugh before he ever knew how heavy the world could be. He often played villains and authority figures, but behind the cold stare was a performer whose voice and presence defined an era. John Vernon was born on February 24, 1932, in Zehner, Saskatchewan, Canada. Raised on the Canadian prairies, he initially trained as a radio announcer, developing the deep, commanding voice that would later become his trademark. His rise to fame came through a steady climb rather than sudden stardom. In the 1960s, Vernon moved to Hollywood and quickly found work in television dramas and westerns. His breakout film role arrived in 1973 with The Outlaw Josie Wales, where he played the ruthless Fletcher, leaving a strong impression opposite Clint Eastwood. A year later, he reached pop culture immortality as Dean Vernon Wormer in National Lampoon's Animal House. With just a few scenes and unforgettable lines, he became the embodiment of authoritarian menace in American comedy. He continued to build a prolific career, appearing in films like Dirty Harry, Chinatown, and The Killer Elite, while lending his voice to animation and video games later in life. Off-screen, Vernon was known to be far gentler than his on-screen personas suggested. A lesser-known detail is his love for voice work and radio, which he considered his first artistic home. He took pride in narration and animation roles, enjoying the freedom of performance without the physical constraints of typecasting. John Vernon died on February 1, 2005, at the age of 72. He passed away at his home in Los Angeles, California, due to complications following heart surgery. His death came quietly, without spectacle, much like many of the character actors who shaped Hollywood from the shadows. The reaction was one of deep respect. Fellow actors and filmmakers remembered him as a consummate professional, someone who elevated every project he touched. Fans revisited his scenes, quoting his lines, and rediscovering how often he appeared in films they loved without ever stealing the spotlight. Today, John Vernon is remembered as a master of presence. He proved that not all legends are leading men. Some become unforgettable by commanding the room for just a moment, with a voice, a glance, or a perfectly delivered line. Long after the credits roll, his authority still echoes. She scandalized a nation, conquered stages on 2 continents, and sang her pain with elegance, becoming a voice Germany could never forget. Hildegard Knef was born on December 28, 1925, in Ulm, Germany. As a teenager, her life was shaped by war, survival, and loss, experiences that would later fuel her art. Her rise to fame began in the ruins of post-war Germany. In 1951, she stunned audiences with The Sinner, a film that sparked national outrage for its brief nudity and bold themes, yet transformed her into a symbol of artistic freedom. Soon after, she crossed the Atlantic and appeared in Hollywood films like Decision Before Dawn. In 1955, she conquered Broadway, starring in Cole Porter's Silk Stockings, earning critical praise and establishing herself as a rare European performer fluent in film, theater, and music. Later, she reinvented herself again, becoming an internationally respected chanson and jazz singer, admired for her smoky voice and brutally honest lyrics. Behind the spotlight was a woman of sharp intellect and resilience. A lesser-known side of Knef was her talent as a writer. Her autobiographies became bestsellers, especially her candid account of battling cancer, written with humor, vulnerability, and unflinching honesty. She refused sentimentality, even when describing her own suffering. Hildegard Knef died on February 1, 2002, at the age of 76. She passed away in Berlin, Germany, due to complications from pneumonia after years of declining health. Her death marked the quiet end of a life lived in constant reinvention. The reaction was immediate and deeply emotional. Germany mourned not just a star, but a cultural force. Artists, politicians, and fans paid tribute to a woman who had challenged taboos and expanded the boundaries of expression. Her songs returned to the charts, her films to television screens. Today, Hildegard Knef is remembered as far more than an actress or singer. She remains a symbol of courage, reinvention, and emotional truth. She showed that vulnerability could be powerful and that scars could become art. Her voice still lingers, not chasing perfection, but telling the truth. She became immortal in black and white, reminding generations that love, nostalgia, and hope can live forever on screen. Marjorie Reynolds was born on August 12, 1917, in Boole, Idaho. Raised in Los Angeles, she began performing as a child, showing a natural ease in front of cameras before most children could read a script. Her rise to fame came quietly, then all at once. In the 1930s, Reynolds appeared in a steady stream of films, gaining experience and confidence with each role. But everything changed in 1942 when she was cast as Mary Hatch opposite James Stewart in It's a Wonderful Life. Though not an immediate box office success, the film later became one of the most beloved classics in cinema history. Reynolds's warmth and sincerity helped anchor its emotional core. Beyond that iconic role, she also starred in popular comedies and musicals of the era, working alongside stars like Eddie Cantor and Bing Crosby, becoming a familiar and comforting presence for wartime audiences. Away from the spotlight, Reynolds lived a quieter life than many of her Hollywood peers. One lesser-known detail is that she largely stepped away from acting in the 1950s, choosing family and privacy over fame. She later worked behind the scenes in television, content to let her earlier work speak for itself. Marjorie Reynolds died on February 12, 1997, at the age of 79. She passed away in Los Angeles, California, due to complications following a stroke. Her death came without spectacle, much like the latter half of her life. The news was met with gentle sadness rather than shock. Tributes focused almost entirely on It's a Wonderful Life, which by then had become a holiday ritual across America. Fans revisited the film, realizing once again how deeply her performance had shaped its emotional resonance. Today, Marjorie Reynolds is remembered not for chasing stardom, but for embodying something timeless. Her portrayal of Mary Hatch represents devotion, resilience, and quiet strength. Every December, her voice returns to living rooms around the world, reminding viewers of what truly matters. Some performances fade with time. Hers never did. She lived fast in Hollywood's golden age, shone briefly but brightly, and then faded quietly from the spotlight far too soon. Wanda Hendricks was born on November 26, 1928, in Jacksonville, Florida. As a teenager, she was crowned Miss Florida, a title that opened doors to Hollywood long before she finished growing up. Her rise to fame came swiftly in the late 1940s. Signed by RKO Pictures, Hendricks quickly landed leading roles opposite major stars. One of her most talked-about moments came in 1949, when she starred alongside James Stewart in The Man from Laramie, stepping into a role originally intended for another actress. She followed this with performances in adventure films like The Prince Who Was a Thief and comedies such as The Admiral Was a Lady. But her most enduring work arrived in 1955 with the gritty film Noir, The Big Combo, where her vulnerable yet intense performance cemented her place in classic Hollywood cinema. Away from the camera, her life was far more complicated than her screen image suggested. One lesser-known detail is that Hendricks was married to James Stewart at the height of his fame. The marriage lasted less than a year, placing her suddenly under a level of public scrutiny she never fully embraced. As studio pressures mounted and roles became fewer, she slowly stepped back from acting, choosing privacy over relentless exposure. Wanda Hendricks died on February 1, 1981, at just 52 years old. She passed away in Burbank, California, after a battle with breast cancer. Her death marked the quiet end of a life that had once burned brightly under Hollywood lights. News of her passing sparked renewed interest in her work, especially among classic film fans and noir historians. Critics revisited The Big Combo, praising her emotional depth and recognizing how much promise her career had held. Today, Wanda Hendricks is remembered as one of classic Hollywood's most intriguing what-if stories. She represents a generation of actresses shaped and sometimes broken by the studio system. Her performances still resonate, filled with sensitivity, strength, and an unmistakable vulnerability that feels timeless. Some stars blaze for decades, others flicker briefly, leaving behind a glow that refuses to disappear.